morning to one and all. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Every accomplishment starts with the decision to try, because even the expert was once a beginner. A very good morning to one and all again. Learning is a continuous process. We all, as faculty members, have an urge to always enhance our knowledge by continuous learning. With the same intention, this ATAL FDP aims to provide knowledge on design thinking and innovative approaches in teaching for better engagement and learning of students in classroom. With this note, I would like to begin the inaugural session of ATAL FDP. I, Dr. Chanda Gulati, on behalf of Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Gwalior, would like to welcome our esteemed chief guest of the session, Professor Naveen Mathur, former Administrative Secretary to VC Rajasthan University, our very distinguished and cherished special guest, Dr. Anil Vajpayee, COO, Prestige Education Foundation, our eminent resource person of the session, Honorable Director, Sir, Professor Nishant Joshi ji, Coordinator of the FDP, Professor Navita Nathani, respected Deputy Director, Commerce, IT and Law Department, Dr. Tarika Singh, and our enthusiastic participants from different parts of the country and our colleagues. I welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of ATAL FDP on design thinking and innovative approaches in teaching for B school teachers. Ability is what you are capable of doing. Motivation determines what you do, and attitude determines how well you do it. With these lines, I would now like to request the coordinator of ATAL FDP, Professor Navita Nathani, Deputy Director, Department of Management, to introduce the program. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Naveen Mathur, former Pro-Vice Chancellor, Rajasthan University. Special Guest, Shri Anil Vajpayee, CEO, Prestige Education Foundation. Director, Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Gwalior, Dr. Nishant Joshi. Professor Kavita Chauhan will be joining us very soon. Dr. Tarika Singh, Deputy Director, Dr. Garima, my co-coordinator, Dr. Chanda Gulati, faculty colleagues and participants. A very good morning to all of you. I welcome you all in 5 days ATAL FDP sponsored by AICTE on design thinking and innovative teaching approaches for B school teachers. The challenges organizations and countries face today are much more complex and tricky than the ones we faced a few decades ago. In order to embrace design thinking and innovation, we need to ensure that we have the right mindset, collaborative teams, and conducive environments. When we were designing this workshop, we kept in mind that how these school teachers will become innovative in classes and students will feel involved and actively engaged in the classes. After choosing this topic, we received quite good response from all over the country. More than 180 participants registered for this.
On behalf of Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Gwalior, I welcome all the participants on the AICTE approved 5-day ATAL FDP, Design Thinking and Innovative Approaches in Teaching for B School Teachers. Pandemic has probably shown us a way through which we have innovated and re-innovated ourselves, at least in the terms that how we have been reaching to students. We may call it as a forced innovation, but necessity is the mother of invention. I think it is high time that B school faculties change the way they design, think, and execute the pedagogies that they have found for students. Our syllabuses need major changes. We have been repetitively teaching the same syllabus across functional areas for years. While it can be termed that many of our universities are having the old wine in a new bottle kind of syllabuses. It's evident and very important that we should approach a very high degree of innovativeness and a thoughtful design to our syllabuses, not only to our syllabuses, but the way we are teaching. And I congratulate the team of choosing a very
at University of Jaipur. Namaskar, sir.
Okay.
I know you were in the Rajasthan University also, but your last stint was with Jagannath University. So, welcome you. And Director for Prestige Institute of Management in Gwalior, Dr. Nishant Joshi, Professors Navita, Harika, and Garima, and Chanda Gulati, the coordinator, and all my faculty colleagues. First of all, it may sound repetitive, but congratulations for this very timely and very appropriate selection today. It is interesting to see that you've used two words and not just one. And what are those two words? Those two words are design thinking and innovativeness. And then believe me, you may have not really pondered very much over this, but the next few days, or rather next few sessions, you're going to actually come across lots of interpretations of these two words. What is design thinking? What does design thinking do to you? What does design mean to you? I'll give you a simple example. I'm sure all of us in our childhood, and some of us even today, ride that two-wheeler contraption called the bicycle. All of us have? Yes or no? Now, if you've ridden the bicycle, you know what happens to your backside if you go for more than 30 minutes or 40 minutes on the bike. You find it extremely painful. Is that not right? And ever since Mr. Macmillan, invented the bicycle, it has been a painful exercise for traveling on that little contraption. You know why? Because the bicycle was replacement for horses. And therefore, when you sat on a horse, you sat on a saddle. So they said the bicycle must also have a saddle. That was absolutely copying what existed. You have 100 years of painful existence on riding a bicycle. Why? Next time you go to buy a bicycle for your children, just look at the invoice. That invoice will read one bicycle 22 inches frame plus one saddle, which is the accessory. It's still called a saddle. Now design thinking says, change that saddle. Call it a seat. And the moment you call it a seat, you would start innovating. Make it look like something that is easy to ride on. But no, because we did not apply design thinking, we went into non-innovative activity. And just like what your director has remarked, that yes, there are curricula, there are lots of things which need to be changed today, and very much different from the days of when Naveenji and I used to be in college. We used to be told on the blackboard what the professor wrote, and we were dutifully supposed to take down notes from that blackboard, mug up those notes, because we need to reproduce them in the examination. That is the rote learning that he and I have been through. No longer. Your children, the children that we teach today, are no longer interested in rote learning, because at the click of a button, they have all the information available to them. Why should they
track on the field with blood and occasional tears? There is no substitute to hard work. Today we have Professor Naveen Mathur sir among us as chief guest. Sir is former Administrative Secretary to Vice Chancellor, Rajasthan University, President Jagannath University, Jaipur, Principal, University Commerce College, Director Research, Director University Central Library, and many more. He is having immense academic and administrative experience as Professor and Head Department of Business Administration, University of Rajasthan. His academic qualification includes BCom, MCom, MPhil, and PhD from University of Rajasthan. He has supervised research work of more than 30 scholars in the Department of Business Administration who have been awarded PhD degree by University of Rajasthan. In addition, Professor Mathur is being connected with several government committees and other academic bodies of different universities. We are lucky to have you here, sir. Thank you for gracing the occasion. Now, I would like to welcome sir to share his valuable thoughts with the attendees. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chanda. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Anil Vajpayee ji, the Director of the Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Dr. Nishant Joshi, Professor Navita Nathani ji, Professor Garima Mathur, other distinguished teachers present virtually in this faculty development program, all the participants, it is indeed a matter of great pleasure for me to be associated with the Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Gwalior. And I was listening to Anil Vajpayee ji and Dr. Nishant Joshi also. Really very good thoughts, very good issues raised by Anil Vajpayee ji and Dr. Nishant Joshi as well. In context of the B schools, the question that comes to my mind is not only how to teach, but what to teach. This faculty development program is very relevant, very pertinent in present context, in context of the new education policy, the NEP 2020, in context of the very low employable MBA graduates, roughly 7 to 10%. About 90% of the MBA graduates do not get employment. So there is tremendous role of B schools, all the management schools, in making the students employable, in seeing that the problems, the social, economic, human problems which we are facing today are somehow resolved. The teachers of the B schools are also citizens of this country. Don't forget that. Therefore, we have a great responsibility on discussing how to teach, what to teach as well. And in this context, I think this ATAL FDP on design thinking and innovative approaches in teaching for your B school teachers is vital. Vajpayee ji rightly pointed out that the old method of teaching, nobody likes that. All the information is available, and students normally nowadays come with that information in the classrooms. Sometimes they think that the teachers know less than us. But teachers have a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom. And they have to share their experiences, their wisdom while dealing with the students. The traditional methods of the interactive sessions, of role playing, lectures, even management games, use of the Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy, even the flipped learning used in IIMs when the students come prepared in the classroom. They read the chapters, try to understand what is written. For instance, in Philip Kotler's first chapter on marketing, what is the concept of marketing? They come with that knowledge. Then they are giving problems and they are asked to solve those problems in the classrooms. So there is use of flipped learning also. Movies are also being used to explain the management concept in B schools. Vajpayee rightly pointed out the use of experiential learning, no doubt about it, relevant. But of greater importance to my mind is what to teach. I am glad that in this faculty development program, we have luminaries in the field of management. Professor Karune Saxena is one of them. Then the Vice Chancellor from Moradabad is also there. Professor Raghuveer Singh ji. A few teachers from IIM, one from Vanasthali Vidyapeeth. But I have a few suggestions to make about what to teach. First is management by consciousness. I am of the firm opinion that the B schools should try to become C schools. C means consciousness. Promoting consciousness among the students. Management by consciousness is a holistic approach to management. It starts with managing yourself. Manage yourself. It harmonizes people, resources, and processes towards fulfillment of goals, leading to sustainable business, human development, social benefits, and global welfare. Some time back, I visited BSU, and when you enter the Management Institute of BHU, on the left side you will find a quotation, a message by Pandit Madan Mohan Malvi. It is, character, enterprise, and integrity are vital to success in life. But on the opposite side, you will find a quotation of Henry Ford. It says, a business that makes nothing but money is a poor business. Henry Ford talked about something beyond profit, that business should be carried out not only for profit but something beyond that. But Madan Mohan Malviya was very clear when he said that character, enterprise, and integrity are vital to success in life. see the difference in the Oriental approach and the Occidental approach. So management by consciousness is an alternative approach to my mind by which managers and leaders can enhance efficiency and productivity by shifting the emphasis away from purely external organization of a business to the inner development of the powers, potentials, and faculties of the human consciousness. That is to say, the external excellence has to be combined with internal excellence. Now here comes the role of spirituality. That is why I always say that we should not aim to produce students so that they may become entrepreneurs. We have to make them good citizens first. We have to ensure that they are spiritually very powerful. Make them internally excellent as well.
She has already joined, I think.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Professor Navata.
Good morning, ma'am.
Very good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Very good morning, ma'am. So I welcome everyone for day 1, session 1. First, I would like to welcome Professor Kavita Chauhan, ma'am, from Jamia Millia Islamia for session 1. Ma'am is Professor JMI New Delhi. She holds a doctorate in e-commerce, Indian tourism marketing, and has a very rich experience of 19 years in academics. She has completed a certificate course in design thinking for innovation organized by University of Virginia. She has done certificate course in Google Analytics for power users, advanced Google Analytics for beginners. She has authored many research papers and articles and published in the Journal of High Repute. She has also worked on major research projects sponsored by UGC and ICSSR. Her area of interest includes advertising management, customer relationship marketing, e-commerce, digital marketing, and design thinking. I welcome ma'am for the session. Ma'am, please, it's over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Chandra Gulati. Such a nice welcome. Okay, so today's session, we will talk about design thinking and B-School. So they are the two different entities which we are taking care, and how business schools take advantage of design thinking, that is the core part which I'm taking care. But see, within this time period, I can only discuss about that what is the role of the B school, how they design their curricula, syllabus according to the design thinking, and in the main part which I'm taking care about that, why design thinking is nowadays so important. Now everyone, when you talk about any company and all these things, they all talk about design thinking, they talk about the Google Analytics, they talk about the data science, all these things. So why it is so? Why we are taking care of all of these things? So I will share my PPT with you. In the meantime, we go with the discussion also. Okay.
Ma'am, you're sharing your PPT or shall we?
No, I'm sharing my PPT.
Okay.
I hope it is visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Any idea about all of the members? Anything which you think about what is design thinking and what is design part of us? Anything, there's something in your mind? All of the participants, please.
Being creative.
In chat box, actually they are mute. If you want, we can unmute them.
Yeah, ma'am. Design thinking consists of 4 phases. It starts with empathy, analysis, solving, and testing.
Okay, see, I'm not talking about the whole process of design thinking right now. Just a concept about that. What do you think about design thinking? I mean, I'm not talking about what the idea is talking about. What you think? What is design thinking according to you?
It is designing any service or product with customers or students kept in mind. And the basis of that should be that we as faculty should be empathetic to our students and then design our courses.
Okay. So you are talking about that you should take care of all your users, or maybe our customers or the consumers.
Exactly.
Ma'am, may I share my thought?
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah, fine. What I understood as a layman's thought, design thinking is designing our own thinking process.
Thinking process.
With respect to an objective.
Okay. You are talking about the cognitive science over here. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the technical name of it, but perhaps I am designing my own thinking process with an objective.
Okay, so it is something that what we think about, what we are taking care, how actually we are feeling. That is the design thinking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you are talking about the rational thinking plus your emotional part also. Okay.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Okay, so when we describe this design, like almost you people are near about, but I have one doubt, like if we, in marketing also, maybe you talk about marketing 3.0, marketing 4.0. So Kotler is talking about in a marketing 4.0, a very advanced manner that we have to take care of our customer, their basic needs. They're talking about the customer being as an advocacy part over here. So if marketing is taking care of all of these things, then why we need design thinking part? See, even marketing department, each and every your sales department, even your operational department, like I'm talking about in terms of the B schools. So if everyone is taking care of, like being as a faculty member, you are always designing your curricula. In fact, your pedagogy is according to your students, whether the students are able to identify. If they are not getting the theory part, then you come up with the case studies, then you come up with some examples. You are sharing research papers also with them. You are sharing the news with them. So if everything is going on, then why we are talking about design thinking nowadays?
Yeah, I would like to share my thought, ma'am.
Okay.
Say, for example, delivering lecture in a class is the creation and delivery of value.
Okay.
We are delivering value to the customer, and the value delivery process is omnipresent in any organization. So whoever is involved in the value creation process should have this concept of design thinking, so that everyone will have a common goal and a focus towards a common objective.
Okay.
Whether all the thoughts are really synergistically, if there is a synergy between all the thoughts, and whether the people are designing in the same way.
Okay.
To deliver the value to the customer.
Okay.
In terms of a B school, it is a student.
Okay. So I think being as a faculty member, we are all delivering value to our customers.
Ma'am, maybe we are. It is about being proactive rather than reactive.
Okay. Okay. So according to design thinking is more about the proactive approach. Okay.
Because of the changing needs, characteristics of the student, and to grab the student interest, and also to meet the needs of the corporate sector.
Okay.
Changing needs of the companies.
Okay.
There is a need to go for this kind of thinking.
Okay.
Ma'am, it's also required because the milieu of business, not only the business, but social milieu is also changing.
Okay.
And that's why the need of the corporates and other employers is also changing. Therefore, we cannot, as faculty, we cannot do with the old ways of pedagogy and course content.
Okay.
Hence, I think we have to design our course content and pedagogy in such a manner which is really useful for the students and practical for the students, that can be applied in their lives in future also. And that is why that design thinking will help us in designing the course contents and pedagogy for the benefit of our customers, that is students.
Okay, that's great. See, it really seems feel very good that the way you are describing, the way you're talking about the students, the way you are taking care of the students, that what is the exact need of the students, plus you are taking care of the industry also, because see, students are important. We have to place them in the environment. So environment is our industry. So we have to take care of this industry part over here. So this is very nice to listen all of these things. But when we talk about the design thinking part over here, this is what you are saying. This is all taking care of all of these things. They're taking care of the customers also, like the students also. They're taking care of the external environment also. They're taking care of the need of the customer also. But exactly what design thinking is performing or they're doing, that is when we are saying we're talking about the need. But sometimes what happens that if I'm saying, okay, this is my need, but maybe actually this is not my need. Being as a user, sometimes I'm not clear about that. What is my need? What exactly I'm looking for it. So design thinking is not taking care about only the problem or the need. In fact, they are taking care to give you an appropriate solution also. So that is the beauty of the design thinking, that they are taking care of each and everything. They are talking about that design thinking in both the ways, that in the scientific manner also or in a creative manner also. So thinking that we're talking about as an irrational part, talking about the pros and the cons, the positive things, the negative things, the reshaping, redoing all of these things, and designing me, that we are talking about in such a manner that people really appreciate it. So now, when we are talking about design thinking, so that design thinking we talk about in the broadest meaning, the main thing, that usually if I'm saying design means, that design we are talking about in terms of the visual designing, like how the things look like, whether it's a good or not. Like suppose if I'm talking about that, if you're saying, okay, what is the design? Then you're talking about the design is some pattern that we are showing them. That is a new pattern, a very creative in nature. It seems you feel very good after looking for all of these things. So these things we are taking care when we're talking about the designing thinking. So sometimes some people, those are some things of this design thinking. So usually in their mind, we are talking about, visual designing. That's something very creative in our nature. Only designer people will use it, like maybe the architecture, maybe engineers, maybe the other designer. Like suppose if I'm talking about product designing. So they think, okay, these are the engineers.
Oh, thank you.
Is there any problem? Can you please mute yourself so that I can continue? And in case if you have any query or any question, we put a last session for after my PPT, then we discuss each and everything. So I guess it is clear. So shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, thank you. So usually what happens when we talk taking care of a design thinking, in fact, if you tell about the student that, okay, today we'll take care of the design thinking, the very first thing that comes in our mind is about that's something very creative in it. That is the visual design part over here. That may be, like suppose if I'm thinking, okay, we use the design thinking in this, in company. So the very first thing they're talking about, maybe architects we use it, maybe the engineers they use it, maybe your product designer they use it, that how I'm talking about the sports shoe. So how the sports shoe should look like, what the material we are going to use it, how we put in a visual designing and all these things. So these things comes in our mind, but design thinking is not only about visual design. This is something more and more intense in nature. As even your teacher, they are talking about that design is something when we're talking about that how it works. That is something we are taking care in certain manner, that the basic thing we start with in our design thinking our part is that how I identify problem. That is the most important thing when we are talking about all of certain things. Okay, so design we're talking about being as an people, they're saying that the design is a plan for arranging the elements in the way to best to accomplish a particular purpose. So everything, whatever the design we're talking about, we have a certain goal. So with this certain goal, but in design thinking, my only one goal is to identify the problem and then give a solution for it. So identification of the problem is not according what the customer is saying or what the, so we are not saying over here the customers or the consumer, we give them the term as a user, because these are the people, those who actually feel the problem. So we need to identify the pain point, that where is the pain point where the customer is not getting what actually is looking for it. Or whether what he or she is saying, whether the user is talking about, whether this is the correct thing or not, even he is understood. These things are not. So it is something like that you have to put your foot in a shoe of the user, so that you can understand the actual pain the user is having it while any problem arises. So if you are talking about any product, we're talking about any service, any idea or anything which you want to sell it on. So before selling, you have to work on the design thinking part. See, there's the many companies they're talking about. So when the basic thing which we're taking care of the design thinking, the Tim Brown, this is the co-founder and the CEO of the IGO. They started with a concept of the design thinking in practical oriented work. So how they are defining the design thinking in a more and more strategic manner. They're talking about the business orientation. They talk about that how they solve the problem. They're talking about the bigger role in the organization. Namita ma'am, I just want to ask one query. Can these people share their screen also? Can I do a small activity with them?
Yes, ma'am. For that, we will be giving permission.
Okay. So I just want to do quickly a small activity with them so that they feel to be little active in this session.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Okay. So, so all the faculty members, there is one thing which I need that you should do, like take out on a paper and pen, and I'm giving you two blocks. I mean, the two color of the blocks, like red one and the blue one. Now you have to tell me that how you are going to use this block. N number of the blocks you can use it. My only problem is that I have a block, but the only limitation I'm giving you, use equal number of the blocks. Like suppose if you're using 10 red, then use 10 blue. If you're using 20 red, then use 20 blue. Can you draw a pattern and show me? Only two information that you have. One, two numbers of the blocks with equal number. You can use any number. You can use 10, 20, 15, which you are comfortable. But use equal number of the blocks, equal number of the blue and red color, and draw any pattern and then show me.
Can I please share?
Can you please allow them to share their screen?
Yes, ma'am. We have already given permission.
Okay, so I need to stop it. Stop sharing my PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Nishan, I'm not able. Nishan, can we see your Okay, this is Ankit Agrawal. So Ankit, can we see your pattern?
Ma'am, is it visible to you? This red one and the blue one?
Yeah, but I need combination of the red and blue, not the different one.
Okay, okay.
I need combination of the red and blue. Okay.
Okay, I'll make it share.
Okay. So I need the combination of the red and blue, but with an equal number.
So is this visible?
Yeah. So how many red and how many blue?
I've done blue and black.
You done blue and black. Okay.
Yeah,
So how many
one,
blue and how many black?
1, 2, 3, 4. Matlab, you want only blues, right? 1.
No, I'm looking for both of them.
4, 5. 5 blues and 5 blacks.
5 blue and 5 black. Why this particular? I mean, I'm not able to understand your pattern. This is the perimeter that you have done.
No, it's just a random design. There's no logic to it.
No, I got it. Your random design. That is your visual things. But I just want to know that you draw a perimeter. So this is the perimeter of which block? Because you have only blocks. You have to use only blocks.
Correct. So this is one big blue block and then one black block, and then they are stacked up as a diagonal, and then they're just two ends to fill the gap.
Okay, got it. Got it. Thank you, Nishant. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can I explain the arrangement of rather
No,
than
you have to show me. You have to show me.
Okay.
Oh, that is the great one. We see the triangle one. Okay, you draw like a mountain type and then red and blue. Okay.
Is it fine, ma'am?
Yeah,
Or
got
is
it.
it asking? 7, like it's equal number.
Yeah, got it. So how many red? 1, 2,
7 red and 7 blue.
7 blue. Fine. Thank you. Thank you so much.
May I share?
Yeah, please.
So this is 10 red and 10 blue. First I was trying
Ravi,
to...
I'm really sorry. I can't see your diagram.
Is this
I'm not able to see your pattern. Okay.
I was trying to make a swastik, but I ended up making a cross with 10 reds and 10 blues.
No problem. Okay.
10 reds and 10 blues.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Pallavi.
Ma'am, can I show?
Yeah, please.
Is it visible?
Yeah, visible. So how many red, how many
There are
blue?
9 reds and 9 blues.
Okay, got it. Great design.
Can I share more?
Yeah, please.
ये ले अंकुश क्या भेजा है?
Is it visible to you?
Yeah, visible.
Huh?
6 red and 6 blue. Fine. And what about the empty space in between? Why it is so?
अंकुश
Sorry, Ankit, not able to listen you.
Yes, ma'am. It's just a random design.
Okay, just a random design. Okay. Thank you, Ankit. Great.
May I share, ma'am?
Someone else who want to show, or can I continue? Yeah, Rini, you can share. Great IT tools. But I can see the white also part over here. Why it is a white color of brick or any cube? Okay, done? Okay, class. Okay, all the faculty members, now answer me one thing. Like when I told you about that, you have to draw these patterns. What is the first thing that comes in your mind?
Why only squares?
Boxes.
Boxes, then square. Anything else? Like you're asking about that why we are looking only for the square. Why not any other shape?
Yes.
Okay.
Why only red and blue?
Why only red and blue? Okay. Why boxes? Why red and blue? Or something else?
Why equal number of both the colors?
Why equal number of the blocks? Great.
How will I arrange the blocks?
Okay.
The design in the mind.
Okay, the design part. How will I start with this thing? Which pattern I will go for it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now class, see, all of you, the focus only what I told you to do so. Okay, that is the information which I gave you related to the blocks, related to the colors, and related to there to draw a pattern. Okay, so the first thing that comes in your mind is pattern. Which pattern you want to draw? Why these colors? The colors only, the equal number or square. So it means that you are working upon what the information is available to you. Ask something that is not beyond of these things. That what the information you have started working on this thing. That shows that how scientific you people are in your thinking part. Because in the scientific approach, what we are working on, that what the information is available to me, I just try to work it out on that information and put a logical sequencing over thing. I put my logic over this thing, why it is so. And this design thinking part, that is working on both of them. Does any one of you think about what should be the perimeter that I have to take care?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Ma'am is Assistant Professor, Organizational Behavior and Human Resource Management. I'm Visakhapatnam. Ma'am is a PhD from IIM Indore and MSc in Applied Psychology from University of Calcutta. She has taught psychology and organizational behavior at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels in University of Calcutta and has been an assistant professor in OB and HRM at Post School of Management, New Delhi. She has authored one book and several research papers and case studies in human resource management, psychology, and public health, and has received, among others, the first prize in HRM in ISB IV Global Case Competition 2018, the WGI Case Competition Award 2018, University of Michigan, the Best Management Research Award 2013 from National Academy of Psychology, and the Young Scientist Award 2011, Indian Academy of Applied Psychology. She has conducted corporate trainings and workshops extensively in areas such as HR analytics, effective performance feedback, change management leadership, workplace ethics, harmonizing self and others, transactional analysis, team building, time management techniques, HR storytelling, stress management, and work-life balance for organizations such as Airport Authorities of India, Coal India, EISAI India Private Limited, Hindustan Shipyard Limited, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, IOCL, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Government of India, National Academy of Customs, Indirect Tax and Narcotics, NHPC Limited, Naval Science and Technological Laboratory Oriental Insurance Company Limited, Relaxo Footwear, and Sonic Private Limited, and many more. She has also conducted faculty development programs in teaching, management, and leadership for technical education, quality improvement program, and AICTE training and learning academy. CBSE school principals and National Institute of Business Management, Sri Lanka. She is presently the associate editor of the journal South Asian Survey by State. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Dr. Vishakha Mazumdar ma'am for the session. Ma'am, welcome to the session. Now, the session is all yours, ma'am. Please.
Thank you so much, and very warm welcome to everybody, all our respected faculty members over here. It's my great privilege and pleasure to be a part of this wonderful gathering today. So it's a very relevant topic and a topic on a very relevant discussion that we are becoming a part of today. Design thinking is, as the last speaker said, it is actually one of the most important things that are becoming important to organizations. And particularly from the background from where I come in management schools, design thinking is becoming one of the most important things that we are talking about. So in this session, we are here to talk about movies and how we can use motion pictures in classrooms. And it's a very interesting topic because you see, films are something we all probably try to use in classroom in different contexts. So it is a very common thing in management classrooms to come across small clips, video clips, movies that are being shown. Whereas in other classrooms, for example, in degree colleges or probably undergraduate or postgraduate in specialized disciplines, it is relatively less frequently used, but still nowadays it is also becoming very popular as a tool of learning. So we are going to talk about this issue today, which is actually a very popular means of engaging the class among many faculty members, even over here, I'm sure. We will look at the nuances of using movies, and we will try to together think about some of the things that we should be careful about when we are using movies in class, and what are the ways it can actually enrich our discussions, why it is getting recommended. I hope that all of you have been able to catch a little break and get some quick lunch, and I hope that we are refreshed. So in this session, we are also going to take a look at some movie clips because this is about movies. But we are going to take a look at that also. I hope that you find that engaging and entertaining. So before we start off, let me just start by asking this question. How many of us are currently using films or videos or movies in classes?
Yeah, ma'am, I am using.
Even I am also using.
Recently, I took a course on professional ethics, and while talking about deontology and the subjectivity in deontology, I showed the clip of Amitabh Bachchan where he says, "Keh diya na, bas keh diya." So that means ki once the leader or a manager believes that his word is the last, that is subjectivity in relativism, which is a part of kind of deontology. So I showed that clip of the movie Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum.
I also use, ma'am, and I frequently use movies, and in fact, I'm a finance faculty. So just to make them understand the linkage between money market and this, we have discussed the recent web scam 1992 multiple times in the classroom.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, I would like to add.
Ankitji, yes, sir.
Ma'am, I'm a tourism academician here in Gwalior. So recently, for promoting tourism, film tourism, I gave this opportunity to my students to make PPTs on movies. Like we have 15 students, so I gave them this opportunity, like to make movies which shoot in Madhya Pradesh. I am not interested in movie content. I am only interested in location. So they have choose like movie Ashoka, which was shooted in Bedha Ghat of Madhya Pradesh. Few movies like this one Sui Dhaga in this Chanderi. So every student take one movie and they connected with tourism of Madhya Pradesh. So I took this one, and another example like as Dr. Sharma said, like commitment or something like that. So I used one dialogue of Salman Khan, like एक बार commitment कर दिया तो किसी की नहीं सुलझे, something like that. So it is like a manager should be like that, or leadership should be like that. Like once we have committed, then we have to follow that. Thanks. That's all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
yes, I use the advertisements also, apart from the movies, also the advertisements, and showing them the previous advertisements, like the old advertisements, and how there is a change now. And also what is that, for example, if I bring in the Amul advertisement, so which talks about the purity, Gujarati, and they are taking milk, and how they are supplying, to what all extent it is reaching to in the globalized market. So that's how I try to connect and show them. Yeah, that's all from my end.
Absolutely.
Madam, I use stories from Ramayana and Mahabharata, and I used to take personalities and stories from these Ramayana and Mahabharata, and I relate them with managerial skills and all the aspects of management. Like that, I use it to teach my students, madam, in terms of short stories, taking from these things, ma'am.
Excellent, ma'am. So yes, absolutely. And anybody else, if you wish to share your experience of using movies in classrooms, please come ahead. See, the thoughts that we are gathering from this class are very, really brilliant.
Madam, I observed students use it to actively listen to me when I teach them in terms of stories from these things, madam, from movies or from Ramayana and Mahabharata. If I teach them in terms of these stories or something like taking some numbers or some management games, they shows very interest. Active learning I have observed. Instead of teaching just the theoretical part, they feel happy also. They show much interest, madam. This is the thing I have observed.
Absolutely. So they show a lot of interest when we show them a movie that is interesting, that catches their imagination. So as our professors are speaking over here, I'm really excited to hear this thought that one, you're using it across your classrooms and for different subjects. So like Professor Ankit said, it's about tourism, Professor J.K. Sharma said it's about deontology, and Prabhavati ma'am said it's about some other subject, management. Someone is writing it's about, we are using it in management classroom, like Kiran ma'am just said. So these kind of things, and Dr. Aishwarya, you are also using this technology, movies. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm taking subjects of management. I'm taking special interest in training and development. I am using not only movies and videos from YouTube, I also use some cartoon animated movies. They are also a very good source of motivation for my students, and I've seen a bunch of students who were not interested earlier in the lecture mode or presentation mode took more interest in the class once the video or animation or such kind of tools were used in teaching. That's my personal experience.
So they actually students take more interest when we show them movies in the classroom. So see, who doesn't like a movie? So when we start our conversations with a film or something, that is something that actually engages the entire student cohort, no matter where they are located in the world. And particularly when it comes to India, the one thing that really drives India, as they say, that one is cricket and the other is cinema. So something, whenever there is a visual medium and our favorite stars are on the screen, that really kind of gels and opens us up. But at the same time, movies also have very important roles. So feature films also have this very important role that they can also convey many kind of lessons, life lessons, and things that we want to convey, things that we want to discuss very easily. So, like Dr. Sharma was saying, that there's a movie dialogue which is spoken by Amitabh Bachchan, which talks a little bit about how leaders should conduct in themselves in a certain situation, how they should react, how they should solve problems. Those kind of lessons are also coming up from movies. Right. So it tells us that we are using them in classrooms, and these are a very popular technique that we are using. And all of us are kind of, I think that most of us are kind of sold to the idea. So which is a great start. So let us start off by asking you two very simple questions. So I want you to go to www.menti.com. So if you are on your cell phones or your computers, laptops, please go to this, open a new browser and go to this www.menti.com. Once you go there, you are going to see a question, okay? And this question is a kind of icebreaker, but we also want to ask you we also want to know from you something about showing movies in classrooms, because today we are meeting as academicians and we want to talk about how movies showing in classrooms can be executed in a more efficient way. So if you have gone to www.menti.com, it will ask for a code. So your code today is 2209810. 2209810, and the question is, what are the challenges you face while sharing movies or videos, clips in classroom? Are there any challenges you have ever faced? So you have to go to www.menti.com.
Ma'am, please tell the code again.
2209810. 2209810.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
And interesting responses are already coming up on screen. Diversity of thoughts. Okay, so we might want to hear more about this. What exactly? Technological errors that is coming with Windows 10. Audio quality, video quality, length of video. Yes, sometimes videos are too long, right? And that kind of also makes it a problem for all of us. Regional.
Thank you for such a wonderful session. It was really very insightful. Now, I would like to share one gratitude certificate to thank you once again for accepting this invitation and giving your precious time to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
That's really beautiful. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the gesture.
Really great insights. Really great insights.
Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful discussing these issues with you all, with fellow colleagues over here who are also using the tool. And when we discussed, we learned a lot from each other, and lovely to know that you are already using this tool. So do go ahead and use it more and more often. Make the classrooms colorful.
Thank you, ma'am.
And wish you all the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Up next, I request all the candidates to kindly join back quickly in 5 minutes for the next session. Session third with our resource person, Professor Karunesh Saxena. He is presently Vice Chancellor, Sangam University, Rajasthan. He was ex-Director, FMS, IQAC and CDC, ML Sukhadia University, Udaipur, Rajasthan. He has more than 35 years of corporate and academic experience. He has served Dr. H.S. Gaur University, Sagar, Vikram University, Ujjain, Jammu University, IGNOU, New Delhi, and he was the chair professor of ICSSR, a Government of India Institute, New Delhi too. He has created nearly 200 educational films for UGC. At present, a 4 credits, 40 modules MOOC program on business statistics developed by him is successfully running on SWAYAM platform. He is an expert resource person for Commonwealth of Learning, NAT, UGC, AICTE, etc. He has so far guided 43 research scholars for their PhD work. 8 more are pursuing their research work under his supervision. He has contributed nearly 150 research papers. Recently, he was nominated by UGC New Delhi to the High Power Committee for Implementation of NEP 2020. So attendees, participants, invitees and speakers, let me invite sir for the session. Over to you, sir. The session is all yours now.
Thank you, madam, for nicely introducing me to the audience. And I wish a very happy good evening to all of you. And my session will be continuing till 5, or can I extend it by 5-10 minutes?
Sir, till 5:30 you can continue.
Oh, that's no problem. Then perfectly all right. Fine. Only thing is that it should not be too taxing for the participants. Let me try and make it more interactive also, right? So that way I think the online teaching becomes successful only if there is some kind of interaction there. So what I propose is that I'll begin with my presentation. Then maybe midway I will have some pause, and there will be some question answers. And I will prefer that the participants unmute themselves and ask the questions directly by introducing themselves, and I'll try to satisfy their queries. So that way we will be proceeding. I think that it is okay with the organizers. Navita, is that okay?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay, fine. So we begin now, and I request that all of you come into the learning mode, because this is a very good opportunity that Prestige Institute of Management Gwalior has given to you, that a very innovative topic has been chosen on design thinking, which is making the rounds, and the current buzzword also is there. My session was originally scheduled for tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll be traveling, so I decided to cancel the session. But then Navita ji was persistent that she wanted me to speak to you, so that is why she had made the last minute changes, for which I am grateful to her, and she has accommodated me in this session today. Friends, you take your pen and paper ready, because it's a session on blended learning, and the real learning will take place here. Right, so please be ready with your weapons. I would say, as a teacher, these are our weapons, and then it will be a mutually enjoyable and beneficial session for all of us, because I'll also benefit from the interaction that I'll be having with you people. First of all, you write down in your notebook, learn. Once you have written, then remove L. What is left? Earn. Right? So the message is very simple, that your earning is hidden in your learning. How much you will earn? You will earn as much as you will learn. Right? So this is a great learning opportunity for you. And I am reminded of one quotation by Mahatma Gandhi, which says that live as if you are going to die tomorrow. Live as if you are going to die tomorrow, and learn as if you are going to live forever. What a great quotation for emphasizing the concept of lifelong learning. And few decades ago, roughly around 20 years or so ago, I was reading a book by Peter Senge. It was about learning organizations. Later on, the same book has come in the new avatar by the name The Fifth Discipline. Peter Senge is a very big authority on learning organizations, and the fifth discipline is available in the market, but the learning organization, the original book, is not available now, because it was originally published in 80s and all. So I was reading there, and I saw that all over the world, learning takes place in 4 stages. What are those 4 stages? The first stage is unconscious incompetence. First stage is unconscious incompetence. What does that mean? It means that I do not know that I do not know. There is a very deep philosophy involved. मुझे पता ही नहीं कि मुझे क्या नहीं पता. I do not know that I do not know. And we are, for large body of knowledge, we are in this first stage only. The moment somebody asks us a question or we come across any research paper, one small video, and then I'll open the discussion for
Very good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. We have with us our resource person for today's session on case teaching method as pedagogy, Professor Nimit Chaudhary, sir. He holds vivid qualifications. Dr. Nimit Chaudhary, sir, is an engineer with MBA and PhD in management. He is a professor and ex-head of Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management at Jamia Millia Islamia. With more than 28 years of academic experience, he has been a full professor for 15 years in India and China and Mexico. He was also a professor with IITTM, Gwalior, Noida and Nellore and Mizoram University too. He is a recipient of the AICTE Career Award for Young Teachers, Sweden International Development Cooperation Agency, Sweden, Linnaeus Palm Exchange Program Grant, Sweden, Guest Scholarship, PIMG Research Excellence Award, Gwalior, Scholars Grant, Europe, and many more like this. Recently, he was chosen for the prestigious LEAP program at Oxford University. He has supervised 15 PhDs, authored 8 books, edited 5 books, and contributed more than 145 papers. He has traveled extensively to around 40 countries. It's our privilege to have you, sir, here for the session. Welcome, sir, once again. Now, I would like to request, sir, to take over the session. Sir, please.
Thank you, Chanda, and thank you, Navita, for having me here. And just that we don't, can I use my screen now?
Yes, sir.
If, thank you. Visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. Right. So at the outset, let me place on record my appreciation and gratitude for PIMG. Audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. For PIMG and especially Dr. Navita and Dr. Chanda for having me here. And that I don't take anyone by surprise. I must admit that today I'm in a bit of chaos because there's an important meeting and I'm right now in the middle of that meeting. And whenever I am required, I might take a small break for 15 minutes. So that is what I wanted to share with you. And I also didn't want to miss this interaction with all of you. And so organizers have been kind enough to accommodate this request. So since I'll be losing 15 minutes, so accordingly I'll cut upon some parts of my discussion with you. But to begin with, let us form the basis in the sense let's try to be on the same frequency. Why we are talking about this, I know all of you, in fact, probably all of you are from business schools. You have already been using case method of teaching. That is so very integral to the pedagogy used in business schools. So I thought we'll just have a refresher kind of a discussion with you, and I'll try to point out, come up with some pointers how and where we use these cases. also we'll get into, some details of, the dynamics of the case. So that is what I intend to do. But first thing first, that why should we be talking about cases? We have been talking about cases, but do we need to look afresh at this whole business of case method of teaching? And for me, the starting point is the most talked about thing today, and that is COVID, which has had a very, very significant impact on our lives. And as we come out of COVID, the number of questions that are thrown back at us, that how would life, which includes all dimensions of our life, be post-COVID? Will teaching remain the same? And for me, again, each one of us are going to have different opinions. But if you ask me, no, post-COVID, it would be a different ball game. But let me tell you that I don't appropriate COVID as reason for this change. This change was inevitable. It was always, the writing was clear on the wall. What COVID has done is it has only hastened it, right? So we were changing gradually. Some of us were quick to adopt changes. Some of us were not so quick to adapt to those changes. But all of a sudden COVID happened and we all had to change. So we are in a different paradigm. But then what was this change that we were all going through? And probably some of you would appreciate my point of view. The way I look at it is that there is going to be a paradigm shift from a push system where we prepared, these lectures and these assignments and these games and a lot of these things, and we pushed it onto our audiences. This is going to be replaced by a pull system where learner is empowered. The locus of control shifts from the teacher to the taught, and they probably are going to drive their individualized, unique learning styles. Everyone has a different learning style. So they're going to pull, and that is where we need to, position our teaching styles and pedagogy. Another thing which is characteristic of this pull system is that it's going to be a, need-based pull system. And so, the role, one of the indications for teachers, because this entire discussion, this entire FDP is about pedagogy, right? So that is why I'm talking about this. One of the changes that happens, or that is likely to happen, is that this pull is going to be need-based pull. Whatever a learner wants, whichever mode he or she wants, wherever he wants, he or she would have or would be empowered to pull that learning. And subtly, you agree or you do not, but subtly we have already started doing this. I buy something from Amazon, I don't know.
For a session. Now, over to you, sir. The session is all yours.
Thank you, Rabindra. Thank you so much. And let me share with that. I don't know each one of the coordinators who are coordinating this workshop for last, at least maybe for the last 10 years, I've been knowing them. Been doing a wonderful work at Prestige Institute of Management, and they continue to do so. So congratulations for organizing yet another relevant workshop sponsored by AICTE. Now the topic given to me, outcome-based education, and its implementation I added from my own side. Simple reason being, for last 3.5 years, I've been deeply into conceptualizing, designing, and developing, and we have successfully implemented. So, I'll be able to share the first-hand experiences while you actually implement outcome-based education. I share with you that it's not all that easy as it appears when you look at conceptually. You get to know a lot of things which probably you wouldn't have known. You get to know the way people can think about various issues. So that's going to be very exciting for all of us. So here I go. Why it's not changing? Yeah. So these are some of those subtopics which we are going to deal with. Background, Bloom's taxonomy, OB concept, provisions of NAC, and that makes more relevant that why OB is almost every university today or any institution which is interested in getting accreditation from NAC has to implement. Then let's look at the education alignment, OB implementation, preparing POs, PSOs, COs, and preparing course alignment, attainment matrices, developing a course handout for the purpose of, in fact, implementing your OBE. Let's look at first IBE, input-based education. That's what normally is happening, which is a teacher-centered or a content-driven approach to education. We put together whatever the regulatory bodies ask us or what we think is right, borrowing our content or courses from wherever possible. When I say course, I mean the subject. When I say a program, I mean the degree program. So a lot of friends here who are attending today might get, these words intermingled. Simple reason being, colleges mostly use subjects, whereas especially private universities who has been into outcome-based education environment use course, and then degrees are called as a program. So I wanted to clarify this particular, acronym. Regulatory bodies, whatever they say, we put it together, and then we have number of teachers, number of subjects, and contents, number of courses, number of hours of teaching, number of credits, days, hours, infrastructure, all that is considered as an input. We go through the classroom delivery, conduct an examination, and provide a degree. Yeah. Nowhere we decide what we are doing and why we are doing. Nowhere we actually evaluate whether what we wanted to do, have we done it? If not, what requires to be done? That thing doesn't.
Very good morning once again. Welcome to day 3, session 1. We have with us our resource person, Dr. Sandeep Atre, for session 1 for today. Dr. Atre is a counseling psychologist and founder of Socialigence, a venture specializing in development of social and emotional intelligence. He is co-founder and director of CH EdgeMaker. He holds PhD in management and a master's degree in psychology. Authored 2 books, Understanding Emotions Logically and Observing Non-Verbal Behavior. He is a corporate trainer, has conducted 150 plus EDPs and MDPs for 50 plus organizations and institutions like Piramal, Ranbaxy, Bridgestone, Maruti, and many more. He is a management speaker and an orator, and has featured at platforms like IIM, IIT, NIT, RRCAT, TCS, CII, IMA, and many others. Welcome, sir. Thank you for privileging us to take up this session.
Thank you,
on storytelling and role play. I know you are not well, but thank you for continuing with us.
Thank you so much, Chandra.
Welcome, sir, once again. Now I would request sir to take over the session. Sir, please.
Can I share screen?
Yes, sir. Sure.
I hope the screen is visible to you, Chandra.
Yes, it is visible.
I hope you're audible. I'm audible. I'm visible.
Exactly.
Great. Nice. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's always wonderful to talk to people of your fraternity. As Chandaji mentioned, I am not really in the best of my health right now. In fact, I offered to not take the session, but then Chandaji insisted, and it only showed her passion towards this program, that I should take a session, even if the duration is slightly reduced. I think somebody's mic is on. If you could kindly, yeah, please, great. So, as Chandaji was, talking about, I'm a counseling psychologist by profession. At the same time, I'm so-called emotional and social intelligence expert. That is my area of expertise, and I've been a proud teacher for more than 2 decades. So what I will do is I will try to bring in all the elements today in order to explain to you how storytelling and role play, they together form an impactful teaching model. Okay. So Chandaji, you could kindly switch your video off if you want. That's fine. If anyone else wants to switch his video or her video off, that's fine. Okay, great. So talking about storytelling and role play, let me begin with the point what I discovered as a counseling psychologist. Ladies and gentlemen, being a counseling psychologist is different from being a clinical psychologist. And the major difference is that a counseling psychologist essentially deals with problems related to intrapersonal and interpersonal issues. On the other hand, clinical psychologist works with abnormalities, disorders. But then there is an intersection area between work of counseling psychologist and a clinical psychologist. And that intersection area has issues like depression, anxiety, and a part of personality disorders, including OCD. So obsessive compulsive disorder is a big problem with modern human, at least known. Probably it was there right from the beginning, but never really was talked about. So obsessive compulsive disorder is a disorder in which, I'll give you an example of it. A client of mine who was referred to me by a psychiatrist, he had a very peculiar problem that whenever he would walk, there were always, the outlines of tiles, and he had to make sure that his foot lands exactly in a way that the outline, the border of a slide lies exactly in the middle below his foot. And if that wouldn't happen, then this boy, this 22-year-old boy, would start feeling uneasy, would start feeling as if something bad would happen to him or his loved ones. And it was getting almost unbearable for the boy. Now, in treatment of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, a major point that is well established in literature is that you cannot stop thoughts. You can only stop actions. Because if intrusive thoughts, of course, psychiatric medicine, they do help by working on neurotransmitters like serotonin. But at the end of the day, one has to understand that in treatment of OCD, the thoughts cannot be stopped. Only actions can be stopped. And when actions are stopped, then there is a feedback loop that gets established in the mind that, oh, even if I'm not putting my foot in a way that my OCD almost pushes me to do, then only I'll be able to understand that nothing really bad happens. It is called ERP, that is exposure response prevention method, that is well established in psychology domain. So for 2 sessions, I tried to explain to him and I tried to make him do all that through the concept of ERP, exposure and response prevention. That means whatever you fear doing, you do it. And whatever you feel would go wrong, because it wouldn't go wrong, there will be a feedback loop and you'll start feeling that, oh, my OCD has wrong assumptions about life. So I continued to work with him for 2 sessions. And he asked me a very relevant question in the 3rd one. He said, sir, my problem is, Dr. Athre, that I understand there is an OCD inside me and there is a non-OCD person inside me. And you are asking me to listen to non-OCD person. But then, why do you ask me to do it? Because in me, both of them coexist. So how do I decide which will respond to my request? And why do you ask me to do this ERP? Believe me, I paused for a while and I suddenly asked him, have you heard a story that we were taught in our moral science classes during our school days? I mean, of course, in my school days, I was almost, double his age. I am. So I narrated the story to him. I said there was a grandpa who was talking to his grandson.
We'll love to have you again and again in Prestige.
Thank you so much, Chandraji. And I apologize to you as well as...
No, sir. You made it up. That's enough for us.
Okay, ma'am. So allow me to log out now.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks to all the participants. You can, sir has already shared, I will be sharing the mail ID of sir. He's unwell today. So you can contact him. You can mail him if you have any queries at all. Now we'll be meeting up for the next session at 1:15. So we'll be taking a short break and we'll be coming back at 1:15 to rejoin again. Right? Thank you, everyone.
Ma'am, attendance link.
I'm sharing.
I have shared the wrong one. I'll just get onto the right one.
No issues, sir. Please.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I would like to welcome Raghuvi sir for day 3, session 2 on aligning creative pedagogy with the management concept. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Over to you, sir, for the session.
Pleasure. Thank you, Rabindra. Good afternoon, everyone. Whatever we discussed yesterday, some kind of a primer was given to you all about quality of education, and today we are going to discuss one aspect of what we discussed yesterday. That is innovative pedagogy and its alignment to management education. it's chosen by the organizers, I would like to put a small tweak to this topic in reality. That is, I would like to say science and art in effective teaching learning process. When you, as we discussed yesterday, that your pedagogy or your, in real terms, andragogy has to be aligned to the outcomes. So before that, we like to see the science and art, why we need to align that, why we need to choose a particular topic, what's the science behind it. And the second aspect is how do we exactly do in the class. So I like to go through both the aspects. That means why aspect, that is the science, that is your choices of your methods. And then number two, how do we actually deliver, that's an art part of it. Let's look at some of those aspects. Look at the most important aspects in a holistic way, the purpose of a university or a department. There are three pillars of any educational objective, if you look at. That is knowledge dissemination, we call it popularly teaching, knowledge creation, that is a research, and entrepreneurship and employability, that is industry focus. We go to, as an institution or a university, find our moorings. Where do we want to belong at these three? So if you look at knowledge dissemination, that's teaching, as a private institution, you and me have no space left for us, because we will not be able to compete if we use knowledge dissemination as one of our pillars of an educational objectives, because you find your government institutions disseminating knowledge at a very, very low price, which none of us would be able to match them. So in my mind, taking this space is not possible for any private institution, whether it's a university or an institution. Second is the knowledge creation, that is a research. Knowledge creation, again, it requires a huge investment, number one. And number two, there's a large gestation period. It might take about 30 to 40 years for any university to be established as an research university. So the second one also seems difficult. Number three, that is entrepreneurship and employability. And it seems that means when you say employability, it's actually letting your students be job eligible, preparing them for those careers, and also preparing them to be the job providers. This seems to be more appropriate for us. Now, when you put it in the continuum, continuum of these three important pillars, today what you look at is almost about 90% of the time is spent on knowledge dissemination. 90% of the time in knowledge dissemination. Now that means we are pursuing as institutions or as teachers something which is not our objective, something which we are not supposed to do, but we are doing that. We as the institutions have to relook ourselves as individuals. Where do I place myself on the continuum? The least amount is spent on knowledge creation and employability. 90% of the time spent on knowledge dissemination, but that's not our focus. So every one of us has to relook, reorient, design, rethink about what we are doing. That's my message, the first very message to each one of us. Let's rethink, relook, reorient ourselves what we are doing. Having understood that, let's look at a tripolar process of education. there are three important elements in education. Giving all this background would help you to understand education as such. Having spent about almost 30 years in higher education, and that also in management, at least last 25 years or so into management education exclusively. We have professors or faculty members have a least understanding of education. We might have a great understanding of our domain knowledge, but if we don't understand education, we will not be able to contribute much in learning. Because most of us have not been trained to educate people, unfortunately, in higher education. We do not know any processes, we do not know any tools, we do not know any techniques, we do not know any frameworks. Right? It's a very, very difficult all of us to reason out and find best. We have no framework. We have been trained about those frameworks.
It is perfectly audible and visible.
Sir, namaste.
Namaste, Professor Navita ji. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Bilkul बढ़िया.
Ji. Shall we start the session, sir?
Yes, I am ready.
Yes. Okay. Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to day 3, session 3 of ATAL FDP on design thinking and innovative approaches. We have with us the resource person for today's session on life skill lessons inculcating Indian ethos in teaching pedagogy, Dr. Harsh Purohit, Dean Wisdom, Banasthali Vidyapeeth. Sir is a professor of personal finance at the largest residential university for women's education in India, Banasthali Vidyapeeth, and the dean of 2 schools, FMS as well as Faculty of Law, with combined enrollment of 3,000 girls. Both are India's largest all-women institutes. He also heads the National Center for Corporate Governance, set up by National Foundation for Corporate Governance, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and he is also on the board of directors of 2 companies. He also serves as a member of the General Council of the University and acts as a Chief Finance Officer and coordinates NAC, AISSG, and IQAC. The university is ranked All India 35th in NIRF and re-accredited at A++ grade by NAC with 3.63 CGPA. Sir is a gold medalist in commerce and a management graduate from IMS DAVB Indore and has authored 2 books, over 70 articles in reputed journals while during his 15 years of PhD supervision. Over 5 dozen of his students have been awarded PhD in his supervision. He also coordinates the MHRD's National Resource Center in Management at Banasthali Vidyapeeth. Sir was selected by the university to act as chair professor of ICICI Bank chair for BFSI at Banasthali Vidyapeeth during 2008-17. He has recently conceptualized framework of holistic electoral competency rating, Bharatiya model of financial and digital literacy, and work-life natural fusion, which have potential to bring another revolution. He has contributed in raising CSR grants for the universities from the Bank of America, SBI, Tech Mahindra, SDHC, Jamnalal Bajaj Foundation, etc., and has received 9 awards from Principal Mutual Funds, ICSI, Lions Club, etc., for promotion of financial literacy in India. He has completed 3 projects, number of Scopus and ABDC listed publications. He is having 15 published and several potential working papers uploaded on SSRN USA. Sir, I welcome you for this session. Over to you, sir. I request the sir to take over the session. So please.
Good afternoon, sir. Sorry to interrupt you in between.
Yes, Professor Tarika. So nice to see you.
It's the same here. Welcome, sir.
Oh yes, I always believe that
The bonus slides are spreading the light of wisdom across the world. And if you see the LinkedIn, then you'll find so many bonus slides abroad as well, from all the places. So when I get an invitation where the program is coordinated by bonus slides, then I can't tell you, the amount of delight that I get. More importantly, that the purpose with which Banasthali takes the students to the campus and has the hope that they will provide leadership in all walks of life, that is happening. So in academics, there are a lot of people, and at the same time, the institute's environment at the Prestige is also conducive enough, and it's all credit to the management over there that we have this FDP and many more such kind of programs for the benefit of academic fraternity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. So shall I start, Professor Navita ji?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So namaste to all the participants, and let us start the session with the Gayatri Mantra. Please join me in the Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurbhuvat Swaha, Om Tatsaviturvarenyam, Om Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Om Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Now, in this FDP, you have attended a few sessions, and perhaps the third session is the toughest in the terms of maybe a lot of ideas that come in a single day, because I'm very sure that the other resource persons that have been invited by Professor Navita Nathani ji, they all must have showered the blessings and a lot of knowledge in their sessions. A lot of ideas must have come. The thing is that perhaps if even if 10 or 20% of the ideas which are there in the session could be implemented by us, we will find that our entire personality, our focus, what the students get from us will witness a radical transformation. So we all look for a paradigm shift. We say that jumping and taking up the things and competing against ourselves rather than with others. So a lot of ideas must have come, and there are some more which I would be suggesting in my talk. So I would just share my screen and would try to see whether you are able to see the screen. Please give me a moment. Professor Navita ji, is the screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible. Perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to put it on the slide mode, slideshow mode, and then I would just try to change it and again ask you whether you are able to see the slide transition.
Sure.
So, are you able to see the slide transition?
So I think it is not in a full mode.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little time,
Yeah,
a minute or so. Just let me know if you are able to see the slide transition.
On full screen only it will be applicable, sir.
Yeah, I am on the full screen only right now.
So it is 70% now.
Okay, so
kindly make it to 100%, then it will work, sir.
Yes,
Sir, I think you've done share. You'll have to see which screen you've shared.
But are you able to see the first slide right now?
So we are able to see it in the PPT mode. If you put it in the
full screen mode. We are not being able to see that full screen mode if you've shared. Okay, just a moment. I'll retry.
So please share it again. I think it would be.
Yes, that's what I'm trying.
Sir, it is visible now.
Yes, this transition is visible, sir.
Okay, I will just
Visible now, sir.
So you are able to see the slides getting changed?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Because these are the things we have to fix up initially. And my request is that because we are all dependent on the technology right now, if it happens in between that the slide is not visible or my voice is not audible, then please let me know. And in case it happens so that your voice is not reaching me, then please feel free to phone me, because I have just kept the phone on the silent mode, but just in front of me, so that if there is any call, then I can accordingly respond and start. So I would be talking about inculcating the Indian ethos in the teaching pedagogy. Now, you may all agree to the fact that if we see the ancient Gurukul system, which was one reason why India was called as a superpower, that was the key for the status of the nation. And we used to hear that India was called as a golden bird. Now, we all wonder what would have happened if India was known as a golden tiger, because then nobody would have dared to touch the nation. But anyway, as someone has said that कुछ बात है कि हस्ती मिटती नहीं हमारी, सदियों रहा है दुश्मन दौरे जहां हमारा. Let us try to learn what things we can bring in our teaching pedagogy so that we can become much better teachers. Because as teachers, there are expectations which the stakeholders have. And when it comes to teaching, it is not the delivery that we do in the classroom or outside the classroom. It is also about the way in which we generate the ideas that उन्होंने जाके लोगों के भले के लिए उस पैसे को खर्च कर दिया, तो उन्होंने ये फिर जाके बताया कि भाई मैंने उनके भले के लिए इसको खर्च कर दिया है, यदि उनका भला होगा तो अपना तो भला होगा ही ना. कितना इसके अंदर कितनी डेप्थ है इसके अंदर, इसमें यदि व्यक्ति थोड़ी देर सोचे इसको. अब यदि इसको केवल स्टोरी की तरह हाँ उन्होंने अच्छा किया फाइन, लेकिन यदि उसका डेप्थ देखे कि उनकी क्या थिंकिंग रही होगी जिससे इन्होंने ये सोचा कि इससे कुछ बिजनेस की बजाय मैं इससे किसी को हेल्प कर दूं. तो अब यहाँ पर ये मतलब नहीं है कि हर व्यक्ति अपना बिजनेस छोड़ दे और अपना पैसा सब में बांट दे, ऐसा मतलब नहीं है. लेकिन यहाँ पर पर्सपेक्टिव ये है कि आप दूसरों के लिए कर सकते हैं और उनका जो थिंकिंग है वो देखिए कि वो कितना इनोवेटिव और क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग था कि हम यही चाहते हैं ना कि हमारा अच्छा हो, हमारा भला हो. तो हमारा भला यदि हमने दूसरों का भला किया तो भला हो गया. तो ये पर्सपेक्टिव जो है, ये जो थिंकिंग है, ये सामान्यतः हम लोग अपने उसमें थॉट प्रोसेस में नहीं लाते.
Right. Even I have published my paper on teachings of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and ethos in management. And
ये जो आपने बताया मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई. मेरी एक कलीग है, वो अभी तो यहाँ अभी नहीं है, लेकिन उनका नाम है डॉक्टर पवनदीप कौर बिंद्रा. तो ये जो गुरु नानक देव जी की जो कथा है वो उन्होंने ही मुझे बताई और मुझे ये अच्छा लगा कि मैं जहाँ भी अब जैसे बात होती है तो मैं उसको कोट करता हूँ. आपने जैसे आपने कहा कि भाई आप साखी हैं और उनको कोट करती हैं, तो उससे मुझे याद आया ही, इसलिए मैंने आपको बताया.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
I think the session, we have to end the session here, sir. because the participants have been here since morning, so they must be looking for some breaks. So I request my co-coordinator, Dr. Chanda Gulati, to propose vote of thanks and show our gratitude to you.
It was really a enlightening session. Thank you, sir, for this thought-provoking and insightful session. I heartily thank you, sir, for sharing us your knowledge and gracing us and giving us so much of time. On behalf of Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Gwalior, I would like to share a gratitude certificate here on screen.
It is said that, value lies in the eyes of beholder. So I can already see it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Dhanyavad.
Thanks to all the lovely participants for keeping the session interactive and lively. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Very good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 4, session 1 of ATAL FDP on design thinking and innovation. We have with us our resource person for today's session, Dr. Rabindra Pathak. He's the Director, Center for Vedic Management. Let me brief his profile first, introduce him. Dr. Pathak is having doctoral degree in management on employee behavior and awarded another PhD in commerce on relationship of Bhagavad Gita and management. He has completed an advanced course in Vedic astrology and Vastu. He has been awarded postdoctoral fellowship astrology and business by ICSSR. His areas of interest are HRM and OB, Bhagavad Gita and astrology, along with blending of ancient Indian wisdom with modern management. He has deep interest and devotion in Indian culture and in teachings of ancient Indian scriptures like Vedas, Upanishads, astrology, Bhagavad Gita, etc. in the practice of modern management. And also, he writes extensively on integration between human resource and psychology and prime factor delineating HRM theory into practice. And he published more than 25 research papers in different books and journals of national and international repute. He has worked as assistant professor in management institution for more than 14 years to teach MBA students and conducted sessions for students, faculty members and executives on Bhagavad Gita and life spirituality and Indian wisdom, human values and ethics, and many more. It's our privilege, it's our honor to have Sir here. I welcome Sir once again, and I would request Sir to take over the session now. Sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good morning, one and all. So, first, I would like to congratulate Navita ma'am and Pachanda ma'am to decide this FDP with innovative topic. Basically, this topic having the need or serving the need of the society actually. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate both of you. Next, I start with this stroke. Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kanse Chadur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Basically, whenever we talk about the learning or any knowledge, so we always remember the Lord Krishna. Why Lord Krishna? He considered as Jagat Guru. क्योंकि जो सृष्टि है, ब्रह्मांड है, उसकी जब हम बात करते हैं तो उस ब्रह्मांड में जितनी भी लर्निंग है, उनके जो अधिष्ठाता हैं, उनके जो गुरु हैं, लॉर्ड कृष्ण कंसिडर्ड एज द गुरु. एंड वी ऑल आर गुरु एंड वी disseminate our knowledge to next generation. That's why we must know what is the role of Guru. And I hope this FDP provide a platform to learn how to serve this role in better way or efficient way. So whenever we talk about this role, we must understand the role of the Lord Krishna. यहाँ पर उन्हें क्या कंस चाड़ूर मर्दन, बेसिकली कंस और चाड़ूर को मारने वाले, उनका मर्दन करने वाले. So it doesn't mean कि मारना means जान से ही मारना है. It means we have to identify the evils in ourselves. What kind of negativity, what kind of evils, what kind of disorder we have. First we have to identify that order. उसके बाद फिर हमें आगे बात करनी है किसकी, देव की परमानंदम. देव की मीन्स द मदर ऑफ लॉर्ड कृष्ण, मीन्स मदर ऑफ दिस यूनिवर्स. सो परमानंद, जो ब्लिस की हम बात कर रहे हैं वो ब्लिस हमें यहाँ पर फील होना चाहिए. सो वेन एवर वी ट्राई टू ओवरकम ऑल दीज प्रॉब्लम्स और दीज डिसऑर्डर, सो वी ऑलवेज फील ब्लिस इन आवरसेल्फ. और वही परमानंद है, वही परमहंस की हम बात करते हैं यहाँ पर. सो दैट वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड. So I would like to start with sharing my PPT. So just give me a minute. I little bit made some changes in my topic. So management lessons from Indian scriptures rather than the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Basically Bhagavad Gita पर बहुत सारी talk पहले भी हो चुकी हैं. I have given the one session or 1 or 2 session on this topic. So मैंने सोचा कि कुछ innovation इसमें दिया जाए तो innovation क्या होगा, और वो innovation सोचते हुए मैंने सारे जो scriptures हैं उनका एक blending करने की कोशिश की है. So I'll try make it precise. हाँ, तो पहले हम बात करते हैं तो वो बात है हमारी किसकी, वो है कौन कौन से स्क्रिप्चर्स हैं जिनकी हमें बात करनी चाहिए, कि जिनके बारे में हमें जानना चाहिए. So if you see, then you will found whenever we talk about the Indian scriptures, so we have the vast list of the scriptures like Vedas, Upanishads. I think slide is not visible now.
So it was visible, kindly share now.
Okay.
So put it on slide mode, presentation mode.
Yeah, just wait, just I think there is some technical glitch, so creating problem. Okay, so then we start. So whenever we talk about the ancient Indian wisdom, so we are having the detailed list of the scriptures. So scriptures कहाँ से आते हैं? That Vedas, other than Vedang, Upanishad, Puran, and then our Itihas called Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, then Kautilya Arthashastra and Niti Shastra. Niti Shastra related to the Vidur Niti, Chanakya Niti, Niti Shatak related to Bhartari. So there are so many other scripture also, but we have to identify the right one. तो वेद से जो हम बात करते हैं वो वेद क्या है? वेद बहुत ही डिटेल जो नॉलेज है, जिसको महर्षि वेदव्यास जी ने आगे 4 पार्ट में डिवाइड भी किया, लेकिन ड्यू टू द मेंटल एंड फिजिकल लिमिटेशन हम वेद को पूरा रिटेन नहीं कर सकते आज के टाइम में. सो दिस इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम. सो अब हमें क्या करना है? तो हम उनके वेदांग पे जाते हैं, वेदांग के 6 पे हो जाते हैं आगे जाकर. सो इट इज ऑल्सो द अगेन प्रॉब्लम. तो करना क्या है? तो करना ये कि हमने इतिहास आया, इतिहास में महाभारत से पूरा गांव बच रहा है तो उसको एक व्यक्ति एक परिवार को हटा दीजिए. एक गांव के हटने से अगर पूरा शहर बच रहा है तो उसको हटा दीजिए. तो हमें ग्रेटर ऑब्जेक्टिव पर ध्यान देना पड़ेगा और सही गलत पर ध्यान देना पड़ेगा, ये हम समझाएं. तो गलती कहाँ होती है? हम इस पर्सपेक्टिव को भूल जाते हैं. तो यहाँ ध्यान रखिए, उन्होंने बहुत पहले समझाया, पहले कहा, लेकिन माना क्या? उसको ही दुत्कारा गया.
ठीक है.
एनीबॉडी एल्स प्लीज? ओके, आई थिंक आप क्वेश्चन नहीं है. चंदा मैम, यू कैन टेक द चार्ज.
जी सर. Participants having any query, please go ahead. think there are no queries now.
लगता है overdose तो नहीं होगा क्या?
No, sir, they are giving very good feedback. The chat box we can see.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this wonderful session. I heartily thank you for sharing this knowledge and gracing us. I would like to share one gratitude certificate over here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for accepting our invitation and coming for this wonderful session.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks to the participants also. Thanks to the participants too. All are in silent mode.
Thank you, Pathak.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
Nice
you.
session.
Ma'am, can we have sir's mail ID?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. I'm putting in this chat box, right?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was really a wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Just for the knowledge of participant, we can add that sir is also a very renowned astrologer. So if you want to talk to him, you can. If you want to discuss your problems. I know this is not a right platform, but yes, this may be related to your personal front only. So if you want to talk to him, you may talk. Sir, please, you can share your mail ID, or we can share whatever.
I have shared, ma'am.
Okay. Madam has already shared it.
Ma'am.
And this site is sriramseva.org. So if anyone want to visit it, so can visit sriramseva.org.
Ma'am, we just type it and send it.
Sriram Shiva.
SHRIRAM SEVA.org.
sriramshiva.org, right?
Yes, ma'am. SEVA. Correct.
SH नहीं था शायद.
नहीं, SHE.
Correct. SHRIRAM.
Okay.
SHRIRAM. चलिए, अच्छा लगा मैम आपने बुलाया. आप लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा सेशन, एक अच्छा मतलब कहना चाहिए प्लेटफॉर्म दिया है सभी को सीखने के लिए, और जो आज की टीचिंग के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. होप कि हम आगे भी ऐसे ही मिलते रहेंगे. तो थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Participants, all the best.
Thank you. Participants will be taking a break of 10 minutes and will be back at 1:15 here.
So, should I leave, ma'am?
Sure, sir. Thank you. So should we start?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to day 4, session 2. We are honored to have with us Dr. Abhishek Behel from OP Jindal Global University for a session on game-based teaching using gadgets and videos to stimulate critical thinking. Dr. Behel is a researcher in the area of information technology and analytics. He has earned his second PhD from IIT Bombay in the area of crowdfunding and gamification. Sir is a winner of the prestigious Naik and Rastogi Award for the excellence in PhD from IIT Bombay. He holds a rich experience in teaching, research, and consultancy. He has taught subjects like business analytics, marketing analytics, digital marketing, marketing research. He has also served as a senior manager research at Center for Innovation, Incubation, and Entrepreneurship, IIM Ahmedabad. His research in the area of business analytics and decision sciences with a focus of gamification, stakeholder engagement, sustainability, and e-commerce startups. He is an associate editor of several journals like Journal of Global Information Management, Journal of Cases on Information Technology, and in an area editor of the International Journal of Emergency Services. He features on the editorial board of many journals too, such as Journal of Global Marketing, Journal of Electronic Commerce in Organizations, and Young Consumers. He has published more than 50 research papers in top-tier journals and published 3 books in the area of decision science. He is also a founder and director of Gamification for All. It's our privilege to have you here, sir. Welcome, sir, once again. I would request sir to take over the session now. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Chanda, and thank you the entire team for organizing this brilliant workshop. And I think it's interesting for me to talk on this topic to young minds. And I always use the word young minds because minds will always remain young, right? Irrespective of what age at we are at, it's important to be young, and more importantly, the industry which we are in does not help us graduate by, because there's so much learning outside. Okay, so thank you once again for giving me an opportunity to talk about this interesting idea. As my presentation, and I think Dr. Chandra, let me know how much time do I have to talk and how much time is for Q&A.
You can talk for 2 hours. 2 hours.
Roughly 2 hours, right? So I'll try my best to engage you for the next 2 hours or so, and then obviously there will be questions and answers. You may want to stop me in between if you want. I'm happy to look at that as well. But in case you want to reserve your questions towards the end, happy to do that as well. You can post the questions in the chat window or post it to Dr. Chanda. We can then discuss your concerns towards the end of the session as well. Great. So when it comes to game-based learning and in fact game-based teaching, one of the critical aspects for everyone who is listening to me and who will be following the next 2 hours is to understand games very nicely. Now, as a person and as people who definitely have been grown with this idea of understanding games, and we have been, the age-old saying always holds true, that all work and no games make Jack a dull boy. This holds true till date as well, right? Unfortunately, and I would say unfortunately, because of the only reason that COVID-19 has hit everyone, we have been so much now into work, and we are so much into life that we have, the kind of games we used to play or the kind of interactions we used to have before COVID-19 was slightly different. So especially when the learning goes digital, games will have come into rescue for a lot of institutions and for a lot of people. So I will also try to share my experience with what I have been doing with different universities and also the part of my course at my university, and also how can you use games or game-based learning as a part of your own course. So my presentations, which will be coming up soon on the screen, are not specific to a particular topic. So be it marketing, be it HR, be it human, be it IT, be it strategy, or whatever social sciences domain you belong to, you can still start using those fundamentals to, in a way, change the way you are delivering your content. That's precisely what my slides are geared up to. Okay. Now, before I put up the slides, I also have a small question for everyone. And I think if you have answers to that, let me know. You can unmute yourself and share the answer, or else, obviously, the slides will definitely answer the question in due course of time. What do you think, or do you have any idea what is the first mobile phone game that was launched? Any idea about that? Does anyone have any clue on that? You can put that in the chat window as well, or you can unmute yourself and answer the question. What is the first, or what was the first mobile phone game which people played? And we're talking about mobile phone games. I'm not talking about the offline games. First mobile phone game which was played. Any idea? Anyone has any idea about that? If you have ideas, feel free to unmute yourself and share an answer. Okay. Snakes, arranging the blocks, snakes. Okay. Snake game in Nokia Snakes. Okay, fantastic. A lot of people have been pointing out to Snake as a game. The answer Sorry. Okay. For people who said Snake as an answer, actually the answer is not Snake as a game. By the way, Snake is the second game which people played, right? So let me put up the presentation, and that is where this is getting more critical, right? Tetris, good. Priyanka, Tetris was the first game. That's exactly the right answer. the first game which was played online, or not online, I mean played on a mobile phone, by the way, is Tetris. Now, for people who don't understand Tetris, the presentation will probably show you something, and this is something which I will start talking about in due course of time. Block game, Tetris, same things, almost same things, right? So look at this. This is exactly what Tetris is, right? Or the block game, what people, I'm secretly hoping this is what you are referring to. However, your snake game is the second one. Now, taking a departure from the image which you are seeing on screen, carefully look at the image and see what is, and I'm sure you would have played both Tetris and Snake as a game. There is a reason why Tetris could not get the same recognition as what Snake got, and in fact, Snake still holds probably the #1 spot in any sort of game or any sort of feature phone games which are still being played. Okay, so one of the prime reasons why Snake became the #1 game, or is still being the #1 game, is because of its simplicity. So learning for everyone, that when you are designing games in a classroom, rule #1, or so-called the point #1 you should keep in mind, is that the game should be as simple as possible. The moment you start complexing something, people will be confused. People will have lesser ideas about how do you play the game. Is it okay for me, not okay for me? Am I be interested in this or not? And so on and so forth. If you look at other games which have been really popular, and obviously now the digital versions of those games are also available, are games like Ludo, or games like Snakes and Ladders, or games like chess. Now, if
based method is an interactive teaching pedagogy, it's really engaging, that enhances the critical thinking, right? It was a very excellent session, wonderfully accepted, and it was a very interactive. Thanks to the participants too. Thanks to Sir for giving such a wonderful session. And on behalf of Prestige Gwalior, I would like to share one gratitude certificate over here. On screen, I think it's visible. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for sparing your valuable time and connecting with us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Chanda, for organizing this. It was really nice interacting with everyone. And as I said, I'll be all the more happy to help you in whatever way possible going ahead. So let me know. I'll be very, very thankful to Chanda as well as to the Institute for hosting me onto their platform.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
much. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Up next, after short break of 10 to 20 minutes, we'll be back at 3:30 for the next session. Thank you, everyone. An attendance link is already floated on the chat box and in WhatsApp group. Please fill it within 10 minutes. Thank you, everyone.
Education. It's very interesting, and as a beginning trivia to all of you, the first known newspaper published in India was around January 1780 by a person named James Hickey. His full name was James Augustus Hickey, and he started something known as the Hickey's Bengal Gazette. And newspapers are from time immemorial extremely notorious. So this newspaper, which was published from India, which was named Hickey's Bengal Gazette, leveled corruption charges against the then Governor General of India, Warren Hastings. And Hastings had to use his powers to sue Mr. Hickey and block the newspaper and ensure that the Indian Postal Services do not continue the newspapers. Then finally, by November 1780, the same year, 11 months down the line, a newspaper named the Indian Gazette was published, which was the pro East India Company paper, and which continued to get published. So this is a small trivia of newspapers in India and how newspapers can be notorious, while newspapers are one of the most interesting things in the world. Newspapers are used for teaching, and it's not new to the world. Newspaper as a tool of effective teaching and effective management teaching also. And to understand the whole gambit of how to use newspapers, we must all understand and probably realize that we have been pushing the MBA students and the undergrad management students to go ahead and read newspapers. The interesting aspect of this is, why should one read a newspaper? Newspapers are living books, and these living books actually give you a host of knowledge and information which keeps you updated. Another very interesting affair with newspapers in India is that one of the most popular newspaper which is prescribed by everyone around the management education circle and parlances is the Economic Times. And very interestingly, a question comes into the mind: why Economic Times as a newspaper is referred, prescribed, or probably asked to every second person in the class to read, and probably read it every day, make it a habit. Why? Why Economic Times only? Why not any other paper? It is a very interesting discovery which I somehow got to understand as a management grad myself while undergoing my MBA program, was that in Economic Times, generally an important business news is published one day in advance as compared to any newspaper in the country. Now that is very, very interesting, because they publish their newspapers very late in the evening. That allows them to actually publish the last bit of news that probably their correspondent has gathered from the market in the evening. So you will find a news getting published in Economic Times far faster as compared to anybody in the country. And and in this business, the world's leader is Reuters. I will now start to share my slides, which will help us understand my topic well. I hope this is easily visible to.
Absolutely a lot of change. We can see a lot of paradigmic shift is there. So you also know that we also witnessed the technology got disrupted. No, today the kind of advantage for the students and the faculty, which is enormous. Having said that, how we can bring this entire thought process into different methodology, and also the kind of today's topic, how the industrial visits and pedagogy of the entire thought process, teaching methodology will evolve over a period of time. So I take this privilege to share some of my insights on this session today. I'll just share some of my experiential validation with all of you, because employment is something different, employability is something different. See, once you complete the 15 minutes of interviews during the campus or any kind of interview, you can see that you will get a job because of you have a experience, and you also have a academic qualification, and you also have a certain kind of skills. But the important aspect is that how you be employable in the organization. Unless you have the right kind of attitude, the right kind of technology application, and the right kind of innovative thought process, if you don't have those kind of upskilling and adaptability of these things, it's very difficult to employable in the organization. In the same way, how you faculty, I think faculties are, I always tell that Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So Guru, the faculty is the inspiring individual for any of these students. I think you are the people to inspire, you are the people to encourage, to identify the right kind of skill set of the student, and how he can build, how he or she can build his own career or her own career. So having said that, I just made a small kind of a presentation to share with all of you. I'll share my screen, Dr. Chanda. Just please let me know whether my screen is visible or not.
Sure, sir.
Is my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I'll just make it in a PPT mode. Is it full screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. So I think first of all, I must compliment the Prestige Institute of Management Research and Goal to take up this wonderful initiative, the Faculty Development Program, and the concept of the theme is design thinking and innovative approaches in teaching for B school teachers. I think it's a wonderful tool, opportunity for all of the faculty development people, and that too, you're involving industry people part of this this process. I think this would give a lot of insights because you are on the other side, I'm on this side, So that definitely, unless we have the hand in hand, things will not move in the right direction. So having said that, so today's theme is that field trips and industrial visits, integrated framework of theory and practice. I think it's a wonderful concept, wonderful theme. I would say that because I still remember when I'm pursuing my MBA, and 20 years back, we used to visit industry and dissertation. I don't know whether I'm so sorry to say that. See, today most of the even these schools are normal, MBA or postgraduate colleges. They're preferring more on internship. Absolutely, internship is more important. I'm not denying that from the student perspective. Whereas the industrial visit is also most important aspect. See, during industrial visit, along with the faculty, if you go to visit any kind of industry, whether it is a manufacturing or any kind of infrastructure or any kind of segment, then you go and visit. I think that gives a lot of perspective for the student, how the industry works and how to start, where to start, what are the functions, what are the kind of learnings, what kind of people are there in the system, in the organization, and what kind of learnings will have. And after completion of the industrial visit, come back and make a dissertation 360-degree approach.
Yeah, that is a 360-degree feedback.
Yeah. See, for example, being HR head, I don't want to see feedback only from my bosses. I want to receive the feedback from my employees, my internal customers, my external customers, my vendors.
Right.
Then they'll understand what Ranga is competency. No designations, no hierarchies.
Yes.
So that is the things that are happening in the industry today.
Right. So that means the HR people are actually into developing the internal desire or internal motivation rather than working on KRAs and KPIs. So practically, what the literature is telling is being done practically also in the field.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Fine.
In fact, by the way, I'm happy to share that I'm also doing my PhD. I'm doing my PhD. In fact, I completed my second semester also. My thesis is that, enhancing employee engagement leading to productivity and retention.
Very good.
I'm in the process. I'm writing my thesis now. So I have to submit now.
Very good.
Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you, Sharma. So any other questions, friends? Hope these insights, what we shared right now, you can relate yourself, and you can start practicing, or you can sharpening. Of course, we're all experienced people. See, today, that's what I told you. Learning is a continuous process. I need to learn from you because, for example, Sharma ji made a point. Tomorrow I can go and talk to my team. Hey, boss, people are thinking like this. Come on, get up. So every day is a learning. I think that's where we need to collaboratively work together to learn from each other. Okay. So yeah, any other questions from anybody? I'm happy to answer. Yeah, someone is asking my mail ID. I'm writing just my mail ID here so that you can share any kind of questions we have. By the way, I'm writing my personal mail ID because official mail ID they get a lot of sometimes it won't access also. I'm writing my Yahoo mail ID so that you connect me any point of time, and I'm very happy to not querying your question. I want to partner with you to understand the dialogue. That's all. Okay. That's why I'll tell you one important aspect here. Can anyone tell what is the abbreviation of TTC?
Cost to company.
You're absolutely wrong.
Okay.
Dr. Anshu.
Okay.
I'll tell you what is the unconventional definition. Conversation that counts. Hope you got my point.
Yes, exactly.
Conversation that counts. Today, the kind of conversation we're having today, it should count on our, learning. The same conversation, whether I'm having conversation with my own team member, or my internal customer, or external customer, or any other partner, that should count. That's the value of dialogue. Hope I've answered you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. See, one important aspect I want to tell you, of course, including me, I think we need to think unconventionally. We need to set back all the conventional thoughts. We need to gear up with the unconventional thoughts. That's where today world is looking for. How unconventional you think through. You take anything. You take teaching, working, talking, collaborating, doing anything, but do with unconventional. Move out of the comfort. Then magic happens. See, if you can see my profile, I'm not exaggerating. That's the reason I've seen all segments of the industries. For example, started with my company with Asian Paint, which is manufacturing. Then I joined with Coca-Cola, which is FMCG. Then I worked with Idea Cellular, Aditya Birla Group company, which is Telecom. Then I worked with Signode, which is engineering company, design. Now I'm working with Shriram Bioseed, which is agriculture company. So what I could see all versatility of the profile. But end of the day, what I understood that people make the difference. People are the assets. The process remains same. People are the assets of the organization, irrespective of any segment you work. That's what my learning approach.
Very true, sir. Thanks for this wonderful session. It was really insightful. Any participants having any queries now? Because we are approaching to the end of the session now.
Yeah. Maybe right now, of course, they also might have exhausted last 2 hours and talking so many things. And maybe let them relax, relate themselves, make them to connect what I said, what is there right now. Maybe you can reach me out any point of time. I'm very happy to share my thoughts and learning from you also. So thank you very much, Dr. Chanda Bulati, for giving this opportunity for me to interact with a lot of intellectual brains. I know I could do a lot of doctorates. I would like to be part of your team over a period of time. I want to see my prefix as a doctor over a period of time. And thank you very much for a wonderful opportunity for having interaction with all of you. Have a wonderful day and stay safe and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much.
Sir. On behalf of Prestige, I want to share this gratitude certificate for this outstanding address that you have given here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving your valuable time to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All the best. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ranga is signing off. Thank you very much, guys. All the best.
Participants, many of you are asking about that next session timing. So it will be at 1:15 sharp. We'll be starting with our next session. And there are lots of queries that are going around in the WhatsApp group regarding this test. Right. So we want you people to be present in the valedictory session. Right. So amid that valedictory session, we can start our test. So we have already shared the attendance link.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
Yes, Aishwarya, ma'am. Please.
Ma'am, it's a humble request to kindly arrange for the assessment so that I can see in the group that many people are having some prior appointments at 2 p.m. and I get my break from the university at 4 o'clock. And I think one more faculty is also writing that they also are getting off at 4 o'clock. So it's a humble request to you, then kindly accommodate us also so that we can also arrange for our assessment. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, this assessment will take hardly 15 minutes you people to complete. So if that means what I can understand that you people are ready to come in the third session or not?
Yes, ma'am, for sure, ma'am.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
It's just the timing of the assessment that I think creating some issues. Otherwise, attending the session is not at all a problem, I think, with all of us.
Okay, that's why actually we wanted that last session will be hardly of half an hour, right?
Okay.
Because it's the closer. So
right.
At 3:30 we are going to start the last session, and at 4 we will close, and then immediately we'll be circulating that assessment link.
Right. So, ma'am, in that case, would request you to kindly keep it open for some more time so that all of us can attempt.
Fine. That's fine, ma'am. That's fine.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Welcome. Ma'am, 3:30. Kiranmai ma'am, it will be at 3:30. And I will even request
5-day long EDP, 5-day long MDP and listening to all speakers, right? It's tough being on the other side than when we are faculty. And we usually being on this side and taught students and listening to others of your same things. That's really a job of patience. But for this session, that is being designed for you, last session probably, and then that's a day of call. So I would like to ask organizers first, like how much hours, how much time I'm having, or do we have a break in between, or is it like a one stretch go for 2 hours?
Ma'am, one stretch. Go for 2 hours. Yes.
You're not giving any break. Okay, fair enough. So that's fine. Okay, not an issue. So we are having a quite number of students here, faculty members here. So an introduction won't be possible. So that's why I asked Dr. Gulati to have me the kind of about the knowledge of the how kind of audience that we are having, and I came to know that most of you belong to these schools. Most of you belong to these schools, business schools. So before I actually started with this session, friends, I'll address you as a friend only, right? Because we belong to the same profession, same community, right? So as a B school professors, we teach into different streams. Probably most of you might be in some in marketing, some in finance, some in economics, some in operations, some in HR, right? So the first and foremost option for a B school faculty is to get a student placed in the desired profile. That's why B schools are designed for, I believe. Right? They are not designed for actually progressing a student from a semester to semester wise. I believe we have been into a B school because we are training the students or the B school. I don't call actually students. I call them as a B school professionals, right? Because we are providing the inputs to the industry. That's what I believe, right? So as an input provider to the industry, it becomes very, very crucial and important job for all of us, that how we are delivering our courses, right? Is it the same methods that we are following? We haven't changed. I believe as COVID comes, we all are being forced, or we have entered into a digitalization. We have adopted all those techniques that we people are dealing with, whether it's a Zoom, whether it's a Google Meet or another platforms you people might be using, maybe Teams or WebEx or Cisco. There are so many, right? So primarily aim is to get a student placed in the profile he or she is desiring for. So as a faculty, maybe at your institute, you people do the profiling of the students, maybe at your level, maybe at a departmental level, maybe at a mentoring level, right? So whenever we start as a faculty, I'm sharing my experience, friends, here. So it's completely related up to me, right? You can always have a discussion. We can always have a discussion on a particular topic that I would like to present over here. So I have divided the whole session into keep sharing and keep collaborating, right? We all can grow while collaborating only. That's one thing that I've learned so far. Because something I know, something you know, and then when we collaborate, it becomes altogether a new domain. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So, okay, friends, I'll take your leave. And thank you again, the institute, the organizer, and specifically the audience, wonderful audience that you have gathered. getting so many people together, it's really a tough exercise. I know that we do it at our level as well. So kudos to your efforts, for sure.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again. Participants will be meeting up now after a short break for the valedictory session at 3:30. Right? A very good evening. A very good evening to one and all. I, Dr. Chanda Gulati, on behalf of Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Gwalior, would like to welcome our esteemed chief guest of the valedictory session, Professor Umesh Hulani, Rector, Jivaji University, Gwalior. Our coordinator of ATAL FDP, Professor Navita Nathani, Professor Garima Mathur, Professor Tarika Singh, and all the participants to the valedictory ceremony of ATAL FDP on design thinking and innovative approaches of teaching for B school teachers. Well, now, when we have come to the end of the FDP, I would like to request FDP coordinator, Professor Navita Nathani, to present the FDP report on this 5 days ATAL FDP. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Honorable Chief Guest of the occasion, Professor Umesh Hulani, Director PMG, Dr. Nishan Joshi in absentia, Dr. Garima Mathur, Dr. Chanda, faculty colleagues and participants. A very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you all in the valedictory ceremony of 5 days ATAL FDP. The 5 days ATAL FDP started on December 7 to 2021 on design thinking and teaching approach in teaching for B school teachers with the beaming presence of our COO, Dr. Anil Bajpayee, Director, Dr. Nishan Joshi, Deputy Director, Dr. Tarika, and the Chief Guest and resource person, was the Professor Dr. Naveen Mathur, former Pro Vice Chancellor, Rajasthan University, Jaipur, who talked about students' engagement and involvement in the classes, which is possible through innovative teaching methods. So, sir, we have 3 sessions every day, and in all we have 14 sessions. So, on the first day, Professor Kavita Chauhan from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, took the session on design thinking and innovative approaches for B school teachers. And in the second session on first day was taken by Dr. Vishakha Majumdar from IIM Visakhapatnam on movies as a tool for active learning in teaching. Third session was taken by Professor Karunesh Saxena. He is a Vice Chancellor, Sangam University, Jaipur, on blended learning through design thinking and identify key stakeholders and their interest toward teaching pedagogy. On day 2, from insights to innovation, this was the total title of the second day, in which the first session was taken by Professor Nimit Chaudhary, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, on case teaching method as a pedagogy. The second session was taken by Professor Raghuvir Singh on the usage of Bloom's taxonomy as a pedagogical tool. And on the third day, the session first was taken by Dr. Sandeep Atre on storytelling and role play, an impactful teaching model. Professor Raghuvir Singh, Vice Chancellor, Tirthankar Mahavir University, Muzaffarabad, took the second session of the third day, aligning creative pedagogy with management concepts. For adding the value to the classes, the session was taken by Professor Harsh Purohit, Dean Wisdom Vanastali, on life skill lessons and inculcating Indian ethos in teaching pedagogy. The next session was taken by Dr. Rabindra Pathak on day 4. The first session was on management lessons from Bhagavad Gita. The next session was taken by Dr. Abhishek Bahel from OP Jindal University on game-based teaching using gadgets and videos to stimulate critical thinking among students. The last on the fourth day, the session was taken by Professor Nishan Joshi on using newspaper as effective teaching pedagogy in management education. On day 5th, that means today, the first session was taken up by Mr. IBS Ranganathan
HR Head, Bioseed Limited, on industrial field trips and integrated pedagogical framework of theory and practice. The second session of day 5th was taken by Dr. Purima Rao, Fortune Institute of Business, International Business, on exploring new forms of teaching, learning and assessment, qualitative methods and visualization techniques as teaching pedagogy. So I hope the total 14 lectures were there, sessions were there. I hope the participants learned a lot out of this, and they will utilize these learning in their classes and make their classes more interactive and interesting. So thank you everyone. This is all from my side. Over to you, Chanda ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Look at what you have got and make the best out of it. Because it is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness, isn't it? So with this, I would like to request some of the participants of the FDP to give their precious feedback on this 5 days program. I would like to call Dr. J.K. Sharma to give his feedback. So please.
Yeah, the initial thought that comes to my mind after attending this 5-day FDP is that it was excellent. And let me congratulate all the faculty members of Prestige Institute of Management and Research, also the CEO, Professor Bajpayee, and the Director, Professor Joshi, for thinking of thinking such creatively and innovatively to have designed such a wonderful faculty development program. And I think that the design thinking approach has been also adopted excellently by the organizers, which has really contributed to the designing of such an FDP. However, some of the sessions, I mean, we can rate some of the sessions as excellent, some of the sessions as very good, some of the sessions as good, but none of the session was fair or poor. It was good, very good, or excellent. And I think all of the participants must have learned something which they can apply in their real jobs as faculty, because with the changing times, as has been discussed within this FDP also, with the changing times, the attitude or the learning requirements of the students have also undergone a tremendous change. And it is therefore that we have to think innovatively in not only lecturing to them, but taking them as a part, as a slice of the pie in the total scheme of things. And we have also to upgrade ourselves if we have not already done so in as far as the digital means of learning are concerned, and adopting the digital means. And as far as my personal thing goes, I'm happy that Professor Umesh Holani is here, who's the rector of Jivaji University. And I'm pleased to share that I am actually a graduate of Jivaji University, Gwalior only. And that gives me another some kind of nostalgic pleasure also. So the other thing that I wanted to mention was that yesterday a session was taken by Professor Joshi on usage of newspapers as a pedagogy. The only thing I would like to add was that although it was also a very good session, we can also use newspapers for marketing teaching also, because there are a lot of advertisements which come in newspapers, and we can relate the marketing concepts better with the help of these students. I think many marketing concepts can be related with the advertisements in the newspaper. That's all I would like to mention. Overall, it was a pleasure to have joined this FDP, and congratulations to everybody and all who have been associated with this FDP in any such manner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Up next, I request Kiranmai ma'am.
Good evening, all. First of all, I'd like to thank Prestige Institute of Management and Research for arranging such a great learning platform for today's teachers, and in such changing dynamics of today students' profile was undergone a great change, which is a challenging task for today's faculty to teach them. In such a situation, this particular workshop, it has given many inputs, particularly the teaching methods like gamification and relating with Bhagavad Gita and all life skills and blended learning. All the methods, really, all the sessions are, ma'am, all the sessions are very informative, and each and every session it has got its own importance, and really I'm thankful to the Prestige Institute for arranging such kind of great platform for us. And also, madam, the way how you have responded to the queries, timely queries, and sharing the PPTs information through to our mail, everything is very nice, ma'am. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. It will give us motivation to arrange more FDPs like this now.
Really very nice. But I have missed few sessions. I have missed due to my classwork. I'm feeling very sad actually for missing all those sessions.
Up next, I would request Ms. Pallavi Joshi to give away her feedback. Ms. Pallavi Joshi.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
So, in this 5 days FDP program, various new insights were gained from the talks of all the speakers, and the insights also, those which we were somewhere already aware of, we got an idea for their implementation in practice in classes that we were not aware about. And the education
joined academics as lecturer in Madhav College. Further, in 1985, he joined Department of Commerce, Shivaji University, Gwalior as a lecturer, became reader there himself in 1993, and subsequently professor in 2001. Sir has published approximately 250 papers in various journals. He has supervised 47 PhDs and a large number of MPhil students. Currently, a number of research students are still pursuing under his supervision. Sir's research interests lie broadly in the area of accounting, finance, and applied economics. He is a spiritual motivator for the young faculty too. He was the president of Indian Accounting Association in 2011-12, secretary of Gwalior branch of Indian Accounting Association. He chaired a number of technical sessions, delivered keynote speeches in a large number of seminars and conferences. With this, I think we are privileged to have Sir over here as our esteemed chief guest. Now I would request Sir to kindly address the participants. So please.
धन्यवाद. आवाज आ रही है ना?
Yes, sir.
हाँ. प्रेस्टीज इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट के डायरेक्टर इस समय किसी व्यस्तता के कारण अनुपस्थित हैं, निशांत जोशी जी. डिप्टी डायरेक्टर नविता, गरिमा, तारिका, प्रोफेसर गरिमा, चंदा और जितने भी टीचर्स यहाँ पर हैं, फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, डियर डेलीगेट्स. अटल फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम जो कि न्यू टीचिंग पेडागोगी, इस पर आयोजित हुआ है 5 दिन का. और अभी जो रिपोर्ट्स मैंने सुनी, लगभग 14 सेशन हुए, और जिन जिन प्रोफेसर्स को उन सेशन के लिए इनवाइट किया गया, ये सभी अपने अपने क्षेत्र में बहुत विख्यात है. और मुझे प्रसन्नता है कि उन लोगों ने आप लोगों के बीच में समय देकर अपने अनुभव का लाभ आप लोगों को दिया. परंपरागत रूप से अगर हम देखते हैं तो चौक डस्टर वाली टीचिंग वो अपनी ट्रेडिशनल टीचिंग है. और आज भी आपको ऐसे बहुत से टीचर मिल जाएंगे, वो कहते हैं जब तक हाथों में चौक की डस्ट न लगे तब तक पढ़ाने का मजा ही नहीं आता। लेकिन धीरे धीरे हमने चेंज अनुभव किया, और मैनेजमेंट एजुकेशन में तो ये चेंज बहुत पहले आ गया था। जितना भी हमारी आईटी सर्विसेज हैं, उन आईटी सर्विसेज को यूज करके हम किस प्रकार से नए टीचिंग मेथोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट कर सकते हैं, इस सबको हमने पिछले कई वर्षों से देख रहे हैं और उपयोग में आ भी रही है। प्रेस्टीज उसमें बहुत अग्रिम रूप से उनका प्रारंभ से ही उपयोग कर रहा है। इसके लिए यहाँ का पूरा स्टाफ वास्तव में बधाई का पात्र है, क्योंकि इस संस्थान से मैं तब से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ जब से इसकी नींव ग्वालियर में रखी गई थी, और आज चूंकि इन्होंने अपने को अपग्रेड करने में, अपडेट रखने में बराबर ध्यान दिया है, तो इस कारण से ये अपने आप में एक अग्रणी स्थान इस पूरे नॉर्दर्न बेल्ट में, इस राज्य में बनाए हुए है। इससे हम लोगों को भी बड़ी प्रसन्नता होती है। इस गर्व इस बात पर होता है कि विश्वविद्यालय में इस प्रकार के राष्ट्रीय स्तर के संस्थान हैं। और एक बात मैं बहुत दमदारी से कहता हूं कि पिछले 20 वर्षों में लगातार प्रयासों के बाद रिसर्च के क्षेत्र में ये संस्थान बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है, और उसका लाभ बहुत बड़ी संख्या में न केवल जीवाजी विश्वविद्यालय में वरन और सारे जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स यहाँ पर विभिन्न कार्यक्रमों में आते हैं, उन सब का लाभ वो लोग ले रहे हैं। खैर, अपन मूल बात पर आते हैं। अभी पिछले 2 वर्षों से, लगभग 2 वर्ष होने को आए, कोरोना काल में जिस प्रकार से ऑनलाइन टीचिंग चली, कई तरह के ऐप इस प्रकार के आए जहां हम बच्चों के लिए, बहुत छोटे बच्चों के लिए, प्राइमरी क्लास के, इंटरमीडिएट के बच्चों के लिए, कॉलेज के छात्रों के लिए, ग्रेजुएशन के बच्चे हैं, पीजी के बच्चे हैं, रिसर्च के बच्चे हैं, इन सब के लिए हम ऑनलाइन बोर्ड पर बहुत तरह से कोर्स प्रोग्राम चला रहे हैं। और हमने ये भी अनुभव किया कि जैसे ही ऑनलाइन टीचिंग प्रारंभ हुई, तो अनेक इस प्रकार के टीचर थे जो हम लोगों की जनरेशन में इस समय हैं, खासतौर से 50+ वाले, जिन लोगों को इस प्रकार से ऑनलाइन टीचिंग में बहुत सी कठिनाइयां भी आती थी और शुरू में बहुत घबरा रहे थे कि हम किस प्रकार से ऐसा करेंगे। लेकिन जब देखा कि अब करना ही है, और एक 2 मिनट का प्रयास हुआ, और 2-4 मिनट के प्रयास में ये सब बहुत अच्छा लगने लगा।
Guide Professor Umesh Hulani, Rector Jivaji University, for gracing this FDP Valedictory Session with his benign presence and words of wisdom. We all have heard him, and he is full of wisdom and knowledge. Thank you so much, sir. Up next, I would like to thank Professor Naveen Mathur, former VC, Jagannath University, Jaipur, as he was there in the inaugural session, and you must have attended his session, and you know that he is also a wealth of knowledge. Thank you. Thanks to him also. Also due to Dr. Anil Bajpayee, COO, Prestige Education Society. Thank you, sir, for joining the session and gracing the occasion. I'm thankful to our Assistant Director, Dr. Nishan Joshi, for guiding us and sharing and delivering insightful lecture and addressing the audience in inaugural session as well. I would also like to thank Dr. Tarika Singh, Deputy Director, IT Law and Commerce. Thank you, Madam. I would like to thank all the resource persons in the session from day 1 to day 5, namely Professor Kavita Chauhan, Dr. Vishaka Majumdar, Professor Karunesh Saxena, Professor Nimit Chaudhary, Professor Raghuveer Singh, Dr. Sandeep Atre, Professor Raghuveer Singh, Professor Harsh Purohit, Dr. Rabindra Pathak, Dr. Abhishek Bahel, Mr. IBS Ranganath, Dr. Purnima Rao. Thank you, everyone. I know that you all have attended all the sessions, and they were having such innovative ideas for teaching. So we all have benefited through all these things, all the teachings and learning. Thank you, everyone, for that. The true heroes of this FDP deserve special thanks. Dr. Navita Nathani, coordinator of the FDP, Dr. Chanda Gulati, co-coordinator of the FDP, and Mr. Dharmen Singh Kushwaha, who is behind all this technical support. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your worthy efforts. I would like to thank the wonderful audience also, because you have shown your interest and involvement during the whole FDP. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. At the end, I would like to thank all other technical staff, students, faculty members who have helped directly or indirectly in this FDP. Thanks once again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars. I'll repeat. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars. Embrace the possibility and keep learning. I would like to thank each and every one of you to be the part of this ATAL FDP. Thank you so much, everyone.
Can we leave now, or do you have any test or something like that in the session?
Yeah, the assessment link I'm going to share in the chat box and in the WhatsApp group also now.
Thank you, participant. All the best for your assessment test. The link is, will be visible in your chat box. So please go through with it. I hope it is there.
आप सभी का बहुत बहुत आभार इतनी अच्छी FDP ऑर्गेनाइज करने के लिए. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Monica, ma'am.